Pat Buchanan, one of our absolute favorites, his new book just out. And by the way, he has said, that the comparisons to Watergate are, well, not fair and grossly invalid. And I think he's right about that. And Pat's written so many great books over the years. But Nixon's White House Wars, the battles that made and broke a president and divided America forever. Maybe timely that your book is out, huh, my brother Pat?
Yeah, as I tell folks, I called Trump and told him to hold off firing Comey until the date of publication of my book with the Saturday Night Massacre chapter in it.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, was it Monday? Was it a Monday night? Monday night, Tuesday night?
Tuesday, I think.
Oh, shucks.
But listen, let me just say seriously, you're exactly right about Rosenstein. What he has done, you have an investigation that's going on 10 months now by the FBI. They have discovered no collusion between Trump's campaign, apparently, because no one's been indicted, and certainly not Trump. And everybody that speaks out says there's no collusion been established. So you have no crime or even alleged crime, and you appoint a special prosecutor who is going to be there for years, who now has authority to rummage far beyond an investigation of the Trump campaign, Russia connection, etc. And they're going to be rummaging around in investments and taxes and all the rest, wherever they want to go. And Rosenstein has really delivered a real potential blow to the President of the United States. He's going to be now under a cloud. This is not going to be concluded soon. So I agree with you. Look, you expect your folks at the Department of Justice, they're going to do the right thing, but they are members of the administration. You've been honored by your appointment by the President, and you stand up for the prerogatives of the President. If nothing has been done wrong, you take the heat.
Well, and I think when you think about Jim Comey and the type of person who writes these memos after he has all these meetings, and I never liked the memo writers. I'm sorry. I mean, diaries, I get diaries because you're a writer, but it's something about him just doesn't sit well with me, Comey. I'm just like a drama queen. He loves to be at the center of a drama. He go back and write his memo and tell his friends that I felt pressured or whatever he felt. But he has a dinner with the president. He claims, apparently, in a memo no reporter has seen, that the president asked for his loyalty. I was talking to a friend of mine this morning, and he's pretty old school, and he said, Ingraham, Trump's kind of a throwback because he believes in this idea of loyalty, like loyalty to your boss, loyalty to the mission. And he asked if he asked for loyalty, what's wrong with that? That in and of itself is nothing wrong with that. And yet the media says, oh, that's obstruction of justice. He's asked for loyalty. That's not the case.
That you're exactly right on this in terms of what Trump was doing in both these occasions is he was acting as a normal human being. We're under fire, etc. And he says, are you with me, in effect, part of my administration? And then the other one, he says to Comey, can you cut the guy some slack? This General Flynn has really been hammered. That is a natural human reaction. He didn't offer, say, if you don't cut Flynn some slack, or if you move evidence to indict him, I'm going to fire you and I'm going to fire everybody else. He just said a natural, normal thing. Can you cut the guy some slack because he's gone through hell? I think people will understand that. And if he had done something allegedly criminal, Comey, you're right, there's an element of Boy Scout there. Comey would have rushed back to the Justice Department and given the Deputy Attorney General the notes and saying, I believe I've witnessed some kind of crime. He didn't. He just threw the notes into the file. How are they later going to say Trump did something illegal when the behavior of the guy he talked to, in effect, says Trump did nothing illegal?
And then he goes on May 3rd onto the Capitol of his testimony, and he says again, like I've not had any pressure to. No one's been interfering with the investigation, and they were talking about the Justice Department. No one at the Justice Department's tried to stop him, but that would be the time, correct, Pat? Because it would be a purposeful omission if he thought the president had pressed him and didn't mention it before Congress.
Sure, he would. If it was an attempted cover-up, he was colluding in it if he didn't take any action.
Maybe he'll go to jail. Maybe he'll go to jail at the end of all this. Mueller will have to put his old pal in jail. I don't think that's going to happen, but You can always dream of a real reality show. Let's really make this like one of a real brass knuckle reality show and have a real outcome that would surprise everybody. Comey in a big orange jumpsuit. That would be a tall jumpsuit, huh? He's a tall guy. Pat, you were on with Raymond Arroyo last night on The World Over. It was a great interview, by the way. And you talked about, I think you were trying to put a pretty good face on what is a difficult situation here, because anytime you convene a special counsel, the hunting expedition begins. You hire dozens of lawyers. They have a limitless budget. And they are in many ways a commission in search of a problem or in search of a crime or in search of impropriety, are they not?
And they have tremendous sort of outside pressure from the media and from that produce something, and your prosecutions and your conviction rate, and if you don't get the president, you are a failure. Others have gotten them. And that you will get tremendous publicity and favorable publicity the more you dig up and let go, and the more people you indict. And so there's a real pressure to deliver, and there's also this power to basically rummage all through the taxes and investments. And if Flynn had ties to Turkey and Flynn had ties to Russia, economic ties, or somehow did Trump have them? And just keep pulling on the strings and pulling on the strings until they come up with something. In truth, there was a lot of that in Watergate. They'd get one passel of tapes. Well, we don't have anything here. Let's get another passel of tapes until we can find where Nixon was, talking about a cover-up and things. And I don't think there's any cover-up with regard to the collusion with Russia. I don't think there was any collusion over John Podesta failing to shut off his computer at night.
The uranium deal, and if there was ever any time where Russia benefited from a presidential relationship, it was during the Obama years.
Let me give you an idea I was writing on before I had to get up at night and write on Rosenstein. It is this. Why does not the Attorney General or the President demand that the FBI devote its resources to running down the admitted criminal leaks? First, what they did to Flynn, and that leak was a clear crime, whoever put that out. Secondly, the leaks of all this other material, especially the discussion between Lavrov and the president, which was private discussion there. Someone over in the intel agencies leaked the contents of that high code intelligence to the Washington Post, and they published it. And what I would do if I were the president, you got to start playing offense here. I would set aside a number of agents of the FBI with some investigative prosecutors and say, your job is to run down illegal and criminal leaks from the bureaucracy, because it's become almost a crisis, and we believe folks inside the government trying to bring down this president, and also that unmasking with Susan Rice, go into all the details and start an investigation on the other side. My fear here is the FBI found nothing in terms of collusion, but we do know crimes, if there's been unmasking of Trump people and they've been surveyed, then that is a crime and maybe a series of crimes. And why is that not being formally investigated? It's not in conflict with with Trump talking to Putin about who to send the intercepted emails to. But I think that's what they ought to do.
Yeah, and where is congressional oversight for all of Marco Rubio and Jeff Flake and John McCain's huffing and puffing? All the globalists, by the way, Pat, huffing and puffing about this.
Right.
Where's their
runs with?
Go ahead.
With the media. Where's he? What's going to get him on the front page of the Washington Post, or what's going to get him on TV? It's agonizing over what he's just learned, and that's in regard to Trump. That's what the media are looking for in terms of what they regard as news. They're running with this story, and this is the story. They're not going to be diverted from it. But the clear thing, I think Grassley, for example, has done an excellent job at times when he goes right to questioning the other matter.
Well, and I think the demand for an update on the leak investigations, that's some oversight that Congress could be doing. Where are we? We have detrimental leaks to our national security and to the daily business of this country. Where's the investigation? Why have we seen no progress on that? How many depositions have you taken? How many lie detectors?
These folks Tell the Congress and these folks, look, now you got Mueller investigating the Russia connection.
Yeah, Hillary,
so
all of it.
Tell Republican Congress, shut that down and start on the other one that doesn't have a special prosecutor yet.
Exactly. I mean, they want to open this up. Let's open it up. Let's really find out what happened. Let's really find out. All the big donors got their sweetheart meetings with Hillary, the big donors of the foundation. Let's really open it up. They want to open this up. Let's open it up. But meanwhile, if you had to give the president advice today, if you were sitting with him today, what would your advice be?
Well, again, I would tell him that you're not helping the cause. When you continually respond, because the media want that story to be on the front page every single day, and you have to stop sort of feeding it. And the more, the fact that he's going abroad, the more he can deal with the subjects of major concern. Mm-hmm. Even though the White House press corps is not interested in him, I would tell you one thing. I would take a hard look at the White House briefings and stuff every day, sending someone out to answer questions about stories that the media are interested in. What we did with Reagan, during Iran-Contra, was my idea was that, look, tell Speaks, you're not talking about Iran-Contra anymore, and we got somebody outside to bring him into the White House to investigate Dave Abshire, and we said, if you press wants questions about Iran-Contra, you call him, because we're not briefing on that anymore. And you give him a call. He's an honorable, honest guy, and he conducted the investigation in the White House. And you got the reporters going back to what they're supposed to be doing because they were getting nothing from Speaks.
Yeah, you can't give oxygen to the fire. It'll keep raging.
And you feed it every morning. And who feeds it more than the tweeter?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's in his blood to strike back, and it's worked for him most of his life.
Instinct, exactly.
There is. I've got to say, just to play devil's advocate. It's different. I agree with you. I do agree with you completely. I'm just trying to say, is there any benefit for him calling these people out? Does that rally the base? I think the economy rallies the base, but maybe it rallies the base a little bit every now and then to give a swing over to the media. I don't know.
I think it does, and look, and I think the argument on the other side is the one you're making right now. Is it does rally the base because the base is saying, look, our guy did nothing. He made a normal human statement that, look, cut the poor guy some slack. He's in deep trouble. And they're trying to tear him to pieces like he's, just when he's acting as a human being. And when Trump goes out and says this is a witch hunt, I got emails saying this is, he's exactly right. It is a witch hunt. And so that does rally the base. And Trump does realize that at root, this is a political war for who's going to control the presidency, and are they going to be able to reverse the results of the election of 2016? Is the establishment going to be able to overturn the
will of the people,
overturn the democratic decision of the American people, and recapture power for the deep state and the establishment?
Yeah, they want their territory back. They don't like this. This intruder on their territory, Pat. It's like no trespassing. You're not allowed on their property. He came on their property, and they're going to try to drive him off the property. But your piece is great. Love your book, Pat, and it's our featured selection on LauraIngraham.com and Facebook. Pat, come back anytime. It's so great to talk to you. You were great with Raymond last night, too.
Well, thank you very kindly.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.